You know how I haven't started the podcast in a while? Ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Stop. Wait for it. Y'all are being impatient. Welcome to the yapping bit. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys today. Here's the thing. I feel like this is a little bit of a different yapping bit because ordinarily I record this in the last weekend of the month or as close to the end of the month as I can. I am recording this today on March 15th, which is basically pretty much smack dab in the middle of March, which is very unusual. So I was like, okay, I have the option of either recording it in the middle of the month or like probably not being able to record it at all because the end of March for me is just absolutely batshit bananas. I mean, in 2 days, I'm going to Massachusetts to go to Felicia Day's book tour. The weekend, the same weekend, I am going to GalaxyCon Richmond where I have a press pass, and then the week after that I'm going to Planet City Comic-Con in Kansas City, Missouri. So it's gonna be a crazy couple of weeks. This was kind of the only option. Thank you for going with the flow. I don't know, I really appreciate it. We're gonna get into what's left of my March craziness a little bit more in the fandom bit, but I do have a lot to talk about in the catch-up bit, I feel like, even though it's only been like 2 weeks since I last recorded one of these things. I've spent the past 2 weeks building like our basement into, quite frankly, an adorable living space for myself. Everyone who comes in here is like, oh my god, this is so cute. Like, what? The only thing is I'm not finished decorating it yet. Like, I need more things on the walls. I need a couple more little like statuey, trinkety type things to be spread around this space, and my stuffed animals need to be moved down here. So once that's done, I think my next YouTube video is probably going to be showing this and making it so if you guys were to walk in, you would know your way around. Because I want it to feel like our space, especially the spot where I record my videos now, which I love so much. Like, I decorated that specifically with stuff that people gave me at conventions because I wanted it to feel like it was our space because that's what I want my content to feel like. And I feel like I've finally achieved that almost. I have more decor that I could probably add, but I'm really happy with it. It's actually also been really good for me mentally, and I actually, for a while, because it's only been like 2 weeks, so like nothing monumental in my brain has gone on enough for me to be like, this is exactly, obviously what I should be talking about during the feelings bit this week, but I'm gonna talk about that during the feelings bit, which I know is probably not great for the catch-up bit, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I could talk about in the catch-up bit is all going to be put in other bits because it all just fits other places too. But one thing that I can put here is that I've been having quite a few auditions recently through my agency. What's so funny is like towards the end of last year, they told us, they were like, yeah, like January, there's like right at the beginning of the year, there's a ton of auditions that come through, like prepare to be swamped. And I was like, got it. So I scheduled nothing for January, and I only had like 1 or 2 days away scheduled in February, and March is like the beginning of March I had pretty much completely clear, and I haven't had like any auditions. Like in February and January I had no auditions. It was insane, to the point where I was like, did I do something wrong? I was like, is my agent mad at me? She wasn't, but it was just so strange to for like 2 months receive absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden in like the beginning of March I got like 3 in this one weekend. And then I have another one that I'm going to record after I finish this podcast today. So that's one thing that's so weird is that this stuff just so actively comes and goes. Like there's no, oh yeah, it'll probably happen around this time. Because even when people are like, hey, it'll probably happen around this time, auditions and stuff, prepare for it, it might not happen that way. So it's a lot of just kind of going with the flow and a lot of quick turnarounds too. This one that I have to record today wasn't that bad. They submitted it to me, I think on Thursday, and I have to get it to them by Monday morning. And so of course I'm doing it on Sunday night, but whatever. Today was like the day I could do it because yesterday I was out. I went to, my sister bought a new house, which is so funny because now I have this new space and so does she. But we went to go see her new house and then we went shopping and I got some stuff for down here, my little apartment, whatever. And I finished Bridgerton last night, which I know isn't more important than my audition, but it had gotten to a point where it's like, how have I not finished it yet? So my mom and I sat down last night and we watched Bridgerton. It was super cute. I even made us popcorn. Guys, I'm a fucking chef. I wish I had more to report this month. Oh, I did my taxes, guys. Did you just hear my dog snore? Is that what that was? I'm going to pause this and go listen to that back. Can confirm you did hear my dog snore. I'm going to leave that in. Guys, this is a professional podcast. I'm leaving that in. Anyway, though, you may be sitting there wondering, why are you telling us that you did your taxes? Good, great, happy to tell you. I am getting a tax return and I'm going to use it to get a new camera for my content stuff. Like I want to get like one of those nice cameras because I have a YouTube channel now, but I record everything on my phone. And like when I'm on my phone editing and everything, it looks really high quality. But when I put it on like the computer and I watch it on YouTube or whatever, or my TV or whatever, it looks low quality. So I really want a new camera and I'm going to use the smaller than normal, by the way, thank you, Trump, tax return to get that camera, and I'm really excited. I might also start using it for my like vertical content, like my TikTok and my Instagram, just because I feel like are you ever like scrolling on TikTok or Instagram and you see someone who very obviously recorded something with like a professional camera and it's just so crisp and so beautiful, and it's just like, I don't know, guys, I think I want my content to look like that. Is that stupid? It might be stupid. Whatever. We'll see. I don't know. Let's get into the feelings bit. Because like I said, I didn't think that because it's only been 2 weeks since I last recorded, I would have anything to talk about during the feelings bit. So sometimes when I don't know what I'm going to do for this section, I'll just sort of think about what's making me happy and what's making me sad at any given time and try to break it down. I really therapize myself in order to make this section be full of something insightful for people. Like I really have to break things down from something really specific that happened for me and make it something that can be applicable to everybody. Because that's my goal for this section. I want everyone to be able to pull something from it and implement it into their own daily lives. And the thing that's been making me the most happy over the past 2 weeks has been my new space that I've been building and creating for myself. And I know it's a bit of a unique experience, right? Where I got to pick the color of the walls, I got to pick the carpet, I got to pick the furniture and build the furniture myself, which I did, by the way. I have never felt more empowered than I did when I finished building a fucking table, you guys. Build a table at some point in your life, I swear. But it's not like where I was living and sleeping and existing before I moved down here was bad. That was a space that back when I was like maybe 22, 6 years ago or so, I had pretty much built that. Like I chose the wall colors, I picked decor and did all sorts of different types of things to make that a special space for me. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest issue was that I really didn't take care of it as much as I should have. It was a small space. It was a small room that I had to keep pretty much everything that I owned in, which was a lot. I mean, like I'm 27. Like you acquire a lot by the time you're 27. I don't go shopping a ton, but like, you know what happens. And I think after a while, I got really frustrated with trying to maintain the space and keep the space enjoyable, even though I didn't have a ton of it. And so it got messy. And then after a while, I got so frustrated with how messy it became so quickly that I just sort of let it be messy, and I just kind of existed in a mess. And it was my normal. I mean, everything was overwhelming, but I have ADHD and autism, so everything's kind of always overwhelming. So particularly over the past couple of months, I really let that place go, especially because I knew I was moving down here. So I was like, I don't care what it looks like up here because I'm just going to have to bring everything down here anyway. Why am I going to clean up there? And for some reason, because I know over the past couple of months during the feelings bit, I think, I've talked about how things have just kind of been difficult, like mentally, for me in a weird way. And for some reason, I never put together that my space being awful was affecting me in any way, shape, or form. Like my brain did not connect the two things. So when I moved down here and I had a clean space that was put together well, that I had invested in, everything felt different. And I don't just mean it was physically easier to navigate in my area that I exist in. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm genuinely, I'm going to say it. I'm genuinely happier being alive now than I was when I was trying to when I had given up. You know what I mean? I had given up on enjoying the space that I was living in, sleeping in, whatever. I am so much happier being alive. I'm so much more excited about things now that I have a spot that I care about, that feels safe and good to me. I don't normally buy myself things either, you know? Like I'll buy myself little things, and I mean, I go to conventions. That's what I spend my money on for the most part, but I don't like spending money on big things for myself. It's not something that I am comfortable with. When I spend over maybe $50 on something that's just for me and no one else to enjoy, I always feel like a weird amount of guilt. But moving down here has really sort of forced me because there were things that I needed to buy. Like I bought a coffee table and that was like $70. I bought a cat tree for my cat. That was like $70. I spent $90 on a comforter yesterday, which is insane. I am aware that it's insane. And ordinarily, Emmy from 6 months ago would look at that $90 comforter that is gorgeous and perfect and soft and the one that I have been looking for 2 months and see it and go, but it's $90 and I shouldn't get something that's $90. But I had the $90. Do you know what I mean? So I spent the $90 and I got the nicest comforter that I have ever had in my entire life because I could. And you know what? And here's where we get to the piece that's a little bit more for everybody. I deserved that. walk with me. I deserved to have a really nice comforter if I had the money for it. And I'm so happy that I did. And I think that something I've learned from building this space and seeing how incredible it is for my mental health is to just invest in your space. Oh my God, where you exist the most should not be what you're giving up on. If a spot that you spend a lot of time in is not enjoyable for you, fix it. Fix it. Find a way. Do something. And I'm not saying you need to spend $90 on a comforter. That's ridiculous. And I'm aware that's ridiculous. That's just something I never let myself do. And for once, I wanted to have a good comforter. But tidy up. Clean the floors. Make sure when you walk into a room, it doesn't feel like chaos to you. Because that chaos, it goes all in your brain. It does. It eats you like little brain worms. You deserve to enjoy where you live no matter where it is. Don't give up on your space. Your space belongs to you. You deserve to take up that space. And you deserve to enjoy it. Find ways to enjoy the space that you have to exist in the most. And I wish someone told me that in like January, when I had completely given up on that other room that I was living in. And I literally spent 2 months just sort of living in a mess. Like the floor was covered in stuff and everything was just a disaster. And I was just like, well, whatever, it is what it is. No. It's not what it is. Make it better. Do whatever you can to make where you are work for you. And with that, I'd love to get into the Rex bit, if you'll all indulge me. I feel like the Rex bit this month is going to be a little bit weird because usually when I do the Rex bit, I talk mostly about movies because usually I watch a lot of movies. Honest to God truth, I've barely watched any movies this month. I think I watched one movie. I watched Ready or Not in preparation for the sequel that I'm super excited about. Catherine Newton's going to be in it, for those of you that don't know. Ready or Not, I think it's on Hulu. But it's about a girl who is getting married into a family that's basically kind of in a cult, and it's literally insane. If you like seeing final girls covered in blood, that's your movie, I promise. It's so good. And I'm so excited for the sequel. I'm sure Catherine Newton is going to crush it because she crushes every single thing. And Catherine Newton's going to be covered in blood. Is it a good film if Catherine Newton is not there covered in blood? The answer is no. But the reason I'm not talking about movies very much this month is because I spent a lot of time watching TV shows. Like a lot of time watching TV shows. Have you guys heard of that show Paradise? Starring Sterling K. Brown. Oh my God, guys, it's so good. This was, I think, my second time trying to watch it. The first time I tried to watch it, I think I got like halfway through the pilot, and then I was like, I don't know, I'll watch it later, and then I never did. And then I had a couple people tell me that it was so amazing, so I decided to like sit down and watch the full pilot, and that's always my go-to with a show, by the way. I watch the full pilot, and if I'm not into it by the end of the pilot, then I'm like, all right, I'll put it down. But you watch the full pilot of this show, and it's like, oh, I will be sat here forever for the rest of my life until I'm done with where I'm caught up. If you don't know what Paradise is about, I almost don't want to spoil it because so much of the appeal of watching the first episode is figuring out at the end exactly what the show is about. So if it seems like I'm being vague, that's why, because I had such an incredible experience watching it and then at the end being surprised by what it was about. And I want everyone who watches it to have that same experience. So I don't want to ruin it for you. But I will tell you that Sterling K. Brown plays a Secret Service agent. And maybe the first 5 minutes of the pilot are him discovering that the President of the United States has been assassinated. Does that not immediately grab you? Yes, it does. Thank you. But the President of the United States is also not in the White House. So is he the former president? Is he the current president? You don't really know. It all comes together, I promise. But the whole time you're sitting there going, what the fuck is happening? And the character, Sterling K. Brown's character, Xavier, he's also wondering what is going on. So it pieces together so incredibly. It's such a well-written show. It was created by, I believe, Dan Fogelman, who also created This Is Us, which, of course, he's going to make more incredible things. Fork Found in Kitchen. So if you're looking for something to watch and you're looking to be shocked and awed and in surprise and all the things, and see Sterling K. Brown's butt, I promise that is the correct show to watch. I also know last month I talked about how much I was loving the 4th season of Bridgerton. Finally finished it last night, like I said in the catch-up bit. I love Bridgerton. I do. I am exactly who that show is for. That's another Fork Found in Kitchen situation, folks. I am exactly the correct person to be watching that show. And I haven't read all the Bridgerton books, but I read, I think, through Eloise, which is I think the first 5 books I read. And of those books, Benedict's book was my favorite, so I was really excited for this season, and I think they did it really well. I loved Yurin Ha. Perfect casting, incredible actress, gorgeous, stunning, incredible. It very much makes sense why Benedict was losing his mind over Sophie. Oh my God. And I loved it. I thought it was super fantastic. No notes. Completely incredible. I will say though, and this is just me absolutely adoring season 2. Okay, we're going to put a pin in season 4 of Bridgerton for a second. We're going to talk about season 2. Why did literally every single season get a marriage scene except for Kate and Anthony. Why did they hate? Like, I feel like Bridgerton did the Kate and Anthony season so wrong. There was like not enough promotion. There was no marriage scene. I feel like so much of it was them like just trying to figure out they loved each other. Like there wasn't enough of, I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch it. Anyway, Simone, Ashley, and Jonathan Bailey, you will always deserve your flowers. But this season with Benedict and Sophie was really, really phenomenal and I loved it. And I probably will at some point before the next season comes out, watch Bridgerton from season 1 all the way through season 4 again, just because it's such an enjoyable show and I have such a good time watching it. I'm also in the middle of reading a book. All right, put your jaws back up. Stop dropping your jaws. Stop being shocked. I know, I'm reading. Crazy. I'm reading a book called Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, which is insane. Definitely not for everybody. Definitely not. It's a collection of just sort of insane short stories, which it sounds intriguing, but like the type of insane, the genre, if you will, of crazy that I am talking about is, okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without making you guys think I'm weird for genuinely enjoying this book. The first short story of the book is called The Head, and it is about a woman who spends her life being haunted by a head that lives in her toilet and is made out of her own piss and shit. Literature. So like I said, obviously it's not for everybody because it's batshit fucking insane, but it's well written and I'm enjoying being perplexed by it. The author also has another collection of short stories, but they're ghost stories and they're like all connected. So like it's a novel told in a series of ghost stories. So I think that might be the next book that I read because that sounds even more interesting than what I'm reading right now. I don't know. I really thought that a romance novel would be what got me back into reading, but there was just something about a crazy book that I just needed something insane enough to hold my attention. I don't know what that says about me as a person. Finally, really quickly before we jump into the fandom bit, I want to talk about a song that came out recently by a small artist. Some of you probably know who she is. Her name is Ellie Banke. She released an extended version of her song Ireland. It's adorable. Go listen to it. Okay, that's all. The fandom bit. Let's just get this over with, you guys. Let's just power through it and let's do it together. Let's talk about the trailer for season 5 of The Boys. Let's talk about it. I said this in a video on TikTok and Instagram, and it went a little bit viral. It got a little, I think at this point, close to 150,000 views across my platforms. But phiafreakkk, I cannot stress this enough. If you are going to sit there and make whatever it is that you are going to make Jared, Jensen, and Misha do in the same room, if this sears my eyeballs and haunts my dreams, I am going to sear your eyeballs and haunt your dreams, phiafreakkk. phiafreakkk, please don't do this to me. Please. Oh my God. I say this as a longtime fan of The Boys. Like since season 3, I've been very invested in this show. phiafreakkk, I'm concerned, has begun to change this show where in the beginning, like the first, because I'm rewatching the first season right now, and I feel like a lot of the crazy stuff that happened, like the gore and whatever, was very important to the plot. And I feel like as the seasons have gone on, and hear me out, please, I'm begging you, some of the gore and crazy sex stuff and everything that goes on that show sort of has not a lot to do with the plot and is just kind of there for shock value. And I'm worried that I'm trying to think how to say this. I'm worried that Jared and Jensen and Misha's scene together is going to be a culmination of that in the worst way. I will be sad. And I will watch it. I just have a feeling I'm not gonna like it. Isn't that like the majority of watching The Boys, though? It's a lot of just like, I'm gonna sit and watch it because I'm like invested in the story and the characters. But like, man, do I have to? Do I have to watch it? I will say, though, that shot of Homelander sitting in the Oval Office at the end of the trailer, genius. phiafreakkk, your mind is so beautiful for that. Oh my God, it's so good. I feel like maybe this season, all of the dude bros who are like obsessed with Homelander and are like, oh my God, he's so sick, are gonna realize finally, that he's the villain. And they're gonna finally connect it to the world outside today. What's so crazy about The Boys is that it is watched by a very predominant male audience, I would say. And like, right-wing people like that show. So it's going to be very interesting for all of these right-wing assholes to finally figure out, after all these years, finally put two and two together and realize that Homelander is really just Trump. I was going to say Trump on steroids, but I actually don't think he's Trump on steroids anymore. I think Donald Trump is as bad as Homelander, and I'm going to say that with my whole chest. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about Fangirl-Mageddon. And it's very interesting that I'm currently talking about Fangirl-Mageddon with all of you, because at the time of listening to this, Fangirl-Mageddon has ended. If you are listening to this right now, it means that I have finished Planet City Comic-Con and am now home. So, I don't know. But Fangirl-Mageddon includes, and is not limited to, on Tuesday, going to Felicia Day's book tour in Massachusetts on St. Patrick's Day. That's the perfect time to see Felicia Day to me for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm going with my friend and I'm really excited and it's going to be a great time. Then, like 3 days later, I go to GalaxyCon Richmond because I have a press pass for that. I will say though, I'm so bummed. I went to check the schedule last night and I'm only going to GalaxyCon Richmond for 2 days because like with my job and everything, I can't always take like 3 or 4 days off of work. I can take 2. Sometimes, which is what I'm doing, so I can drive down on Friday and then drive back up on Monday. But the Teen Wolf panel is not happening on a day that I'm going to be there. It's happening on Thursday. Tyler and Tyler, the Tylers of Teen Wolf, if you will, are both going to be there when I'm there, so I will be able to see them both, but I'm really bummed I'm going to miss their panel. There are other panels, though, that I will be able to go to that I'm excited about. I can see Jodie Benson's panel, the voice of Ariel. Manny Jacinto from The Good Place is also going to be there, and he's doing a panel with the guy who plays Pillboy on The Good Place, and I love The Good Place. I've seen that show like 4 or 5 times. I love it so much, and I love learning from that show because there's so much philosophy. If you haven't seen The Good Place, go watch The Good Place. It's a fun time. There's also like a Steve Burns Q&A. There's all kinds of stuff going on, so it's not like I'm going to be bored. Like, I'm still going to go and do other things and see other people. I'm just kind of bummed that I'm going to miss the Teen Wolf panel because what the fuck, you know? The weekend after that, I'll be at Planet City Comic-Con. I'll be honest with you. At the time of recording this, I don't know exactly how that is going to operate. Their website says that people are going to find out if they got press passes, I think, by March 18th. It's March 15th at the time of recording this, and I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a press pass. If I do, obviously, wonderful. That's how I shall operate there. If not, I might reach out to Wild Bill's because I already have plans to do some stuff there with them. So regardless, I will be there, even if I don't get a press pass. So I may be able to get a vendor pass through them. So I might ask them that, but then if that doesn't happen, I'll just buy the admission pass. I don't really care. One thing that's cool about coming to these, like, Comic-Cons is that the admission pass, like, Saturday and Sunday admission for Planet City Comic-Con is around $100. Can't complain. Can't complain. But the 2 days that I shall be there are Saturday and Sunday. I'm planning on making it DuckCon. We'll see how that works out. But I will be there for the Supernatural panel, thank God. So I'll see Jared and I'll see Sam and it'll be great. I'm also going to be there for the Twilight panel, which I'm really excited about. And there's a bunch of other people that are going. Keith David is going to be there. The voice of Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. I think I'm going to have him sign my The Princess and the Frog DVD because I had Jim Cummings, who played the voice of, oh my God, the Firefly. Oh my God, how am I forgetting the name of the Firefly? Ray. It was Ray. He played the voice of Ray. So I had him sign that DVD, and then I'm going to have Keith David sign the DVD too, so it'll be super cute. Alrighty, guys, we've made it to the question bit. As you guys know, you can either email me questions at bestie.emmy@gmail.com, or I pull them from my weekly Q&As on my Instagram story. This first question I got on my Instagram story from phiafreakkk, and it made me laugh. It made me laugh really hard, and I almost answered it on my story, and then I thought, no, this would be so much more fun as a podcast answer. What episodes of Supernatural should I show my dad? All of them. All of them, first of all. But, like, I had a really fun time thinking about answers to this question, because my gut instinct was to go with, like, the classics, and then I started thinking about, well, like, what episodes would be funniest to show your dad? And I was thinking, what about that episode where Sam and Dean become born-again virgins? What about that? Or, I think it's called Party on Garth, the episode where they have to fight the ghost or demon or whatever that can only be seen when you're drunk. That would be a fun one to show a dad. Any episode whatsoever starring Richard Spade Jr., I think, is also a very good answer. Don't ask me why. I feel like Gabriel probably really resonates with dads. I feel like dads are Team Gabriel. I also think Mint Condition in season 14, the one with, like, the Halloween movies and stuff, is very dad-coded. If you want to show him that episode, that's a good one, too. I hope it shows that I had so much fun with that question, honestly, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. And then my dear friend, Bloody Marianne, asked me a question about what I do on sunny days in my spare time. First of all, that's the most dainty, adorable question I've ever heard in my life. I could cry over how cute that is. The answer depends greatly on exactly the temperature outside. Because if it's too hot or too cold, I don't want to be outside. I am not the person that you will see sitting on the deck in the middle of July when it's 90 degrees outside. That is not me. I will not do that. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be cold. I want to be exactly perfect. Anything between 50 and 70 degrees is my sweet spot. I love it. And I don't want it to be buggy. If it's buggy, I don't want to be outside. I'm sorry. I don't care how nice the weather is. If I'm being swarmed by bugs, I'm not interested. But when the weather is nice and when it's not super buggy, I love like reading outside. I love sitting, like I live really close to like a small beach. It's not like a super gorgeous beach. It's Long Island Sound, okay? Long Island Sound is not very gorgeous, but it's nice to be able to sit there and listen to the water and just experience the outdoor vibes. Being outside in not overstimulating situations is arguably one of my favorite places to be. The problem is I just have a very specific tolerance for being outside. This is really weird. I'm aware this is very strange. This is very odd, but the desk that I work at now in my little basement where I live, at like around 9 or 10 in the morning on sunny days, the sun shines right in on the desk, like to the desk, and it's very nice to bask in the sun from my little desk when it's sunny outside. I don't think that's a very good answer. You shouldn't say your work spot when you are talking about places where you like to enjoy your free time, but I don't know. I like to hang out there. Finally, eMurray6 asked me what my favorite Louden Swain song is, and this is a very good question because it's a very complicated question, and I will explain why. I assume you are talking about the actual band Louden Swain, right? Because they're all also like individual artists, or like Billy is in Dick Jr. and the Volunteers. Like my favorite of I think their individual stuff is probably the Dick Jr. and the Volunteers song, I Liked You More When I Knew You Less, or Mike Borja's new song, No Answers. That song is phenomenal. It's wonderful. There's something in the melody. Mike Borja's just got something. His voice is really incredible. I really love that song. But since you asked about Louden Swain music specifically, I have a very complicated relationship with Louden Swain music. Not in a bad way, but okay, let me explain. The first time I heard Louden Swain music was actually live, like at an SNS. Like I hadn't heard of the band before my first convention at SNS. So that was my first time experiencing the band and experiencing their music. And there's so many songs that are so pivotal to the Louden Swain experience, specifically with their shows, I think. So before I started listening to their music, like on Spotify and everything, my favorite, I think, was Amazing. Because just when you're doing Amazing live, like with all the lights that people bring, like it's such an incredible time and it's so unifying and it's so sensational. And then as I started going to more shows, my favorite of all time became Medicated, for sure. There is nothing quite like standing in an audience and doing a little finger kazoo blah, 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 blah thing with everybody. It's so much fun. That song is such a joy to experience live. But I think so much of what I love about those songs is the experience of hearing them live. Because for me, when I'm listening to them on Spotify, they sound so different to me. I don't know why. They just sound very different to me. So I think like my favorite one to listen to on Spotify is She Waits. How does that work? I don't know why my brain does it. It only does this with Louden Swain, by the way. I don't know why. And it's not like I don't listen to Medicated and Amazing in my, like, on Spotify. It's not like I don't listen to them. It's just like in performance, my favorites are Amazing and Medicated. Medicated, bar none. That one performed is incredible. But my favorite to listen to on Spotify is She Waits. Guys, I wish I understood myself. I don't get it either. I'm really sorry. But I think that'll do it, guys. I think that'll do it. Not sure why I suddenly became Southern when saying goodbye, but thank you guys so much for listening. Every month when I do this podcast, I always appreciate it so much. And I think it's so crazy to me that people actually sit down and listen to it. Like I look at the number of downloads and I'm like, holy shit, there's actually people who listen to this thing that I put into the world. So thank you very much. I will talk to you next month. Stay sexy, stay yappy, keep the bits up, guys. And I love you so much. I do. I love you so much.